Welcome or welcome back. I am so excited that we're officially in phase 2 of kitten fostering. In my video about how to cat foster, I go over the 3 phases of fostering. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty shocked at how many people found that video useful in some way. So I figured, why not take it a step further and show you guys how it looks when I go through the 3 phases of fostering. Okay, so here Rico, Mochi, and I were prepping the bathroom space the day before the kittens arrived. Throughout the year, I save a bunch of hand-me-downs of resources that Mochi and Rico don't necessarily use as much anymore. They really come in handy during times like now when I choose to foster. I like to have my cats join me so that they're prepared for all of the changes happening. They're already familiar with the new layout in the bathroom. They're familiar with all the things that they're using. All that's missing in this space is the kittens in a sense. I wanted to do as much as I could to prepare my cats beforehand because I know that Mochi, for the first 2 to 3 days, she's livid, she's angry about the presence of new kitties. And Rico, I know that he doesn't really care for new cats, but I wasn't really sure how he was gonna act. And I was kind of worried that Mochi would turn on him because she usually turns on us when she's angry, and I wasn't sure how having cats on either side of the situation would make Mochi feel. Boom. How's that? You guys think this is good? You think the kitties will like it? I think the kitties will like it. I don't think you guys are gonna like it. Okay, I think this is it. This is the setup. Okay, welcome to EMTV. Cat cribs, okay. Got the heated bed section over here. Rico's laying on the optional sleeping space. Then we've got our litter box set up. You back up just a little bit more. You look at the food area. Okay, period. We've got the whole lineup of options to help us while we bathe. And that's that, you guys. We are damn near foster ready. I really like the idea of using a box to hold the litter boxes in because when the cats go to wipe anything that gets on their paws on the quote-unquote walls, I would rather it be something I can throw away and replace. How you feel, Moch? You know I have company that's going to be coming, right? How do you feel about it? Are you going to be okay with it? Yeah, you going to be okay with it? Make friends, new friends. You guys are going to be a very great hostess. You're going to be a good host. Oh, no. Yes. Rico. This was once you. By the time I finished setting up, it was Mochi and Rico's dinner time. So you can see them sitting here kind of waiting for what's next. That's pretty much what they're waiting for. They were pretty confused about the bathroom space and how it was being set up. I think they thought it was for them at first, but they will see what happens when the kittens come tomorrow. So it is Sunday at 8 a.m. We arrived at the rescue, and this is what it looks like when they brought these babies out. This is the first time that we were able to figure out how many kittens we were fostering, what they looked like, and how old they were. You can see these little dirty babies were super duper cute. They're about 5-week-old kittens. Once we brought them home, we headed straight into the bathroom because they were full of feces and fleas for sure. We hadn't seen any yet, but that's definitely a guarantee when you're dealing with foster kitties. I knew that once we got started, it was going to be like a 2 to 3 hour process. So I left out to check on my cats and then get everything set up. At this point, Mochi knew that other animals were in the house, and this is the version of Mochi that most people aren't familiar with. Oh, I know, baby. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why are you being so mean, Nuggy? Mocha. Hey. Oh, my baby. I know. Hey. Hey. It's okay, Angel. Mocha. Once I checked on my cats and made sure they knew they were the priority, that's when I got started on getting the kittens all set up. First, I brought out this box of cat litter that was donated from one of my clients. As you can tell, a lot of the things that I use for the kittens are really just hand-me-downs in some way. So fostering for me is really 100% free. I don't pay for litter, I don't pay for food, I don't pay for the bins, I don't pay for the toys. But not all rescue facilities are the same. This is just the place that I chose to rescue with. They offer all of these things, but there are definitely other rescues that offer no resources for the foster parents. So this is why I find it really, really important during phase 1 to be very intentional about what rescue you work with. Okay, so here I was squeezing in the other litter box to try to fit them all in one place before the kittens are bathed. It stunk so badly in the bathroom, but I wanted to make sure everything was all set up. I noticed that there weren't a lot of entrances into the litter box, so I started cutting a few into the cardboard box. This is another benefit to using cardboard boxes. You can cut them up, reshape them, add things, subtract things. Then when you're finished, throw it all away guilt-free. So the litter boxes were one of the main resources they gave us, but then I took a look in the bag and saw what else they gave us. Lots of toys, lots of wet food, a lot of dry food. The cats couldn't even really eat it at that age, but I figured I'd use it in the future. So I ended up actually pouring all of the dry food into this dry food dispenser, and I also ended up putting a little bit of it in one of their food containers. I knew they wouldn't eat it. I ended up just giving it to my cats as treats later. I just wanted them to get familiar with the smell and just familiar with everything that's theirs. Now, I wasn't sure if they'd have been fed that morning, but it's safe to assume that they didn't get anything. There was a lot of travel involved. I can't imagine they were able to stop and feed every animal. So the next thing I ended up setting up was their wet food for once they were clean. I used about 4 or 5 of the Sheba half packets, and within 2 hours, it was gone. I honestly hate using these Sheba packets. They're the hardest things to open. It is impossible to open them without making a mess. But at the end of the day, I wasn't going to complain because it costs to feed these babies, and they provided me the resources. Once I had all the food set up, the litter set up, blankets set up, everything was done, I was ready to prepare the bath. I had to scrub it down a little bit because I really use this bath as storage. It's our guest bathroom bath, and I use it to clean mops and stuff. Usually when the kittens arrive, they're severely flea ridden. So what we do is we'll try to fill the bathtub about 1 to 3 inches high with warm water. Here we were determining whether or not we should do 1 kitten at a time or try to do all 3 kittens at once. We ended up just deciding that we were going to clean all 3 kittens at once. Don't make the mistake I made. I got overwhelmed by all the kittens trying to come out, and so instead of placing her in the bath, I placed her on the floor.
Drop them into. You don't want to add that?
Just putting them in. I'm going to use this so that they don't drown. Ooh, dirty.
I don't know what's everything clean.
Because they go straight from transport to here. They don't have anywhere to clean off the row. That's what we are for. That's why they have Foster. Okay, it's tall enough for all of them to walk around. I feel satisfied. As you can see, when the kittens arrive, they are super duper dirty. Just touching the water, they already changed the color of it. This was actually one of the longest cleaning sessions we've ever had to do. Exhibit A, as soon as I took out the dirty water that they were sitting in, one of them decided it was time to take a poop. Now, I'd already replaced the water, so I just figured they're probably going to keep pooping, so I might as well just continue forward until the water gets too dirty. Especially considering the fact that one of the cats pooped in the water. I was really just trying to get just the first layer of gunk off of them. I wanted to get all of their fur wet so that it'd be a little bit easier to distribute the soap. My second concern was making sure that these kittens didn't accidentally drown themselves, honestly. That's why I added in that tray so that they can sit in there when I'm not really looking at them or paying attention. I'm glad my boyfriend was there to help. I know I could have probably washed them in the sink, but when you watch through with this entire video and you see just how much it took for us to clean them and just how dirty the kittens were, you will see that the large bath space was 100% a necessity. As you can see, the water was turning a mixture of red and brown despite the diarrhea that was in there. That's because of the fleas, ticks that were biting them full of food, i.e. blood, and the diarrhea that they'd walked around in when they were inside of the carrier. Okay, so here you can see I've got the third round of clean water in the tub. I've got the kittens getting their first soap down. They were so sweet and so adorable. I made sure to be delicate while I was rubbing them. I made sure that they just kind of felt more like cuddled and loved than like stripped and cleaned in a sense. Usually bathing kittens is full of like screeching and screaming, like they're really not big fans of water, but these kittens were in love with bath time. You can see the one climbing on my boyfriend just because it wanted more attention and cuddles. They did not want us to put them down. They really were happy just being rubbed. I honestly feel like that made the cleaning process so much easier because being concerned about your holding technique probably would have made it so that both my boyfriend and I would have had to work on one cat at a time. But do you guys see just how bloody the water was? Mind you, this is the third round. The red water is a huge indicator of how many fleas that was probably on the kittens. They were just a few weeks younger than the recommended age to start using the flea shampoo, but they were in desperate need of it. And we were willing to make sure that we did everything that we could to get all of the soap off of the kitties. Now, the temperature in my apartment was at least 78 degrees. We had warming beds. The water was warm enough to keep them warm, but not too hot to hurt them. So I wasn't sure why they were shivering so much. I really feel like it's just like anytime you have warm water on you and then you step out, you're going to get a breeze and it's going to make everything feel cold. But I promise we did everything that we could to make sure the kittens weren't cold. But at the end of the day, our number one priority was making sure that there were no fleas and ticks being parasitic on these kitties. And that required using the flea combs and getting a good close-up look at them to make sure that there were no more fleas. I would also occasionally bring them closer to the camera because I was kind of using it as like a magnifying glass. I know that I could have just like put them up close to my face in the bath, but it was basically like a 2-for-1. I got a nice shot of what the kittens look like. And because the water kind of makes it harder for us to search for the fleas, the camera shot helped me look at them like from a big picture perspective, but also up close, if you get what I mean. I feel like the best method to go about getting rid of the fleas with the flea comb is to actually comb in the opposite direction of their fur. My boyfriend and I were kind of just overwhelmed with the number of fleas that they had, so we just had a habit of combing in any direction, but eventually we kind of got better at our technique. So for like 40 minutes to an hour, we were just rubbing the cats down with soap, rinsing them off, picking out fleas, and then repeating the process again. So here I go, separating the fur again, looking for some more fleas. I wanted to try to see if I can get a good angle for you all to see what they look like, because I'm sure from your perspective, you can't tell just how many fleas were on them. But I was able to get a good shot of this one here. You can see I am using the flea comb to try to dig it out. It might take a few tries. Sometimes the soap makes it a little bit more slippery. I actually find it a little easier to get rid of fleas when they're dry versus when they're wet. I try to find as many as I can and pick off as many as I can during each session because even when you think you've got them all, you haven't. So anything that's visible means that there's definitely a lot more. Sometimes I would try kind of just grabbing them with my fingers because we are both sharing tools, but I feel like the easiest way to get them off is to use the flea comb just for like a good comb through of their whole body, but then grab some tweezers and tweeze each of them out. So after 40 minutes of repeating this process, you can start to see that the fleas were dying out on their own, or they didn't find the cat's body a safe space to be anymore. They were more likely to climb onto my latex gloves than to stay on the kittens, which was a really good sign. But in light of the fact that we had been at this for almost an hour, it's really great to see how well behaved these kittens are. And little things like this are really, really great to take note of for the description that they have on their adoption site. I would probably write something like This kitty does amazing for baths. They love being cuddled and just feeling the warm water. Here's the thing. I don't know if the cat will be like that forever. However, I do know at 5 weeks old, at this current time, this is how they behave in light of that. Remember, your job as a foster parent is to help these kitties get adopted. So anything that you can notice that will make people more likely to appreciate them, or better yet, adopt them, take note of that as soon as possible and send it to the team as soon as possible as well. But aside from that, it's also important to note that the only potential, health concerns don't just stop at fleas and ticks. I'm also analyzing these kittens' eyes, how they're breathing, their ears, what their skin color looks like. I noted that there were areas of fur that were kind of coming out in clumps, and I wasn't sure if that was related to fleas or not, whether or not they're sneezing. These are the kinds of things that you want to take note of. So when it came to me analyzing these kittens, I was happy to see that there weren't any noticeable concerns, besides the fleas, of course. I feel like the only other potential concerns I could have thought of was that they had slightly bloated looking bellies. That's often an indicator of like intestinal parasites, but they're only 5 weeks old, so it really could have just been the fact that they were kittens and bloated. I wasn't 100% sure, but I knew the best place to start was once they were clean and after they were fed. When I looked at their first round of potty habits, I would be able to tell from their poop whether or not they had some worms in it. But anyways, by this time, the bath water was finally looking a little more clear after rinsing them off. I don't even know how many times. It felt like, honestly, the light at the end of a tunnel. You can tell how long we were there by my posture, but I was just happy I could see their cute little features, because when they were dirty and when they first arrived, they looked like rats. The closer I got to finishing with these two, or I guess these three, the more I started mentally preparing for my game plan once we were out. When you're fostering with cats at home, it is crucial to take precautions to avoid transferring any potential diseases to your cats, or in my opinion, what feels worse sometimes is a flea infestation. That meant our clothes were a hazard, our skin was a hazard, our bathroom was a hazard. Luckily, we had 2 doors in that bathroom, and one of them led straight to our laundry room. And then one of the pluses to making their, quarantine space in a bathroom is that you have access to the resources that help you disinfect before stepping out the space. So in light of that, we spent a little bit more time trying to get out as many fleas as possible while they were wet. But just after these last few soap downs, we realized that we were definitely going to have to try to take the rest out with tweezers when they were dry. Before letting them dry off, I know some people might be annoyed about this portion. Everybody has their differences and opinions about things, but this is just my thought process. I didn't want the kittens to have any traces of soap or medicated shampoo on them after this bath. I wanted to make sure that I was confident that not a single trace was left on them, and I feel like the best way for me to go about that was to run them under the faucet. Most cats aren't a fan, but honestly, these kittens loved it. So in light of all of this information, this is the game plan that we came up with. We were going to take the kittens out of the bath one by one, hand dry them each, pick out as many fleas as possible, then wash our hands, wash our legs, wash any part of us that they basically touched, and then take off all of our clothes and put them in the laundry room as we were walking out the door that's closest to the laundry room. I'm gonna hear my first purrs. Oh shit. One of them fell off. What? Over here. Can you pass me the bowl? I'm gonna start putting ticks in there, fleas and ticks in there. I got our first purr. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
Can the camera hear it? And then I'm trying to move it to the iPad. So we spent like another 30 minutes drying off all the cats and picking out the fleas from inside of their fur. I didn't just focus on cleaning these cats though. I was very intentional about the way that I held them, how close they were to me, the way that I was rubbing them. I wanted them to feel comfortable. I wanted them to feel safe. I didn't want them to feel like they're going to be stolen from a place, transported to another place, thrown into a bathtub, thrown into a carrier, thrown into a, you know what I mean? I wanted to make it feel as close to motherly love as possible.
Yeah, these are really well-behaved cats. Yeah, they're all holding on by a thread. Because we put them in this bowl, they're dead. Alright, how you feeling, Bubba? Like $1 million? Because you look it.
No, taken. Here, please.
Thank you.
Alright, buddy. It's time. It's time to try. I like you the most already, because you're chill. Yeah. Yeah. He gonna be big. I can see it in his hands. Look at his hands, man.
Oh my gosh, you got the big mittens. They're gonna grow so much in so little time. I'm gonna find somewhere warm to sit, so I'm just going to move over here, put you in my lap, and you right here. How's that?
As you can see, we are only 2 kittens out of 3 kittens down. This was a long 3 hours of work. But on the bright side, when we FaceTimed our friends and we showed them the kittens and we talked to them about what we noticed about the kittens, we had basically already gotten one of them adopted. You can't tell right now, but 2 of the cats were tabbies and one of them was like a dilute tortie, or they sometimes call it like a blue cream tortie. Very similar to Mochi, except they were that blue, which is really just gray color. I had to do a flea check really quickly because you guys saw how many times we washed these cats, and that's how many fleas were on them after we took them out, after we washed them. Luckily, we had the help of the flea shampoo, so a lot of them were actually dying. That's why you didn't see them moving around in the bowl. We found as many as we could while they were wet, but we needed them to dry off a lot more so that it was easier for us to find them. If you're fostering or just have cats in general, I highly recommend these warming beds. But after the cats had some time to nap, they were up and at it.
Bro, they are crushing.
You might want to get your food.
Take her over there. She dry. Oh, she looks the driest. Whoa.
What? Look at them paws in the food.
Paws deep in the food.
Oh. To the party we go. To the party we go. A great tip for foster parents is put them in the litter box as soon as they finish eating. I was so focused on the fact that they were still wet and kind of cold that I forgot, and as you saw, one of them peed in the space that they shouldn't.
I did one. Hold on. Clean her off your paws first. Okay, you're next to the bathroom. You can go potty for me?
I think one of the best things that you can do as any authoritative figure taking care of anything is to put yourself in their shoes. Now, although her sisters were ready to lay back down, this little love was intrigued about all of the new things that she's never seen before. From the eyes of a kitten, why would you want to go to sleep when you just went from being outside to being in basically a playland for cats? I was so happy that she took a second to get acclimated with the space she was staying in and then found where she can go lay down and be comfortable. I noticed that the other two were snuggling up and she was getting ready to go lay down by herself. So I made sure to make her feel as snuggled up and as family oriented as possible. But here you can see I started noticing some of the fleas that were still falling off of them. I'm telling you guys, they were infested. But anyways, part of the reason why I think it's so important for them to be as family oriented as they are is because I do not want to encourage any traits that make the cats difficult to be adopted, to be honest. I want snuggly cats. I want cats that are good with other cats. I do not want to encourage independent traits. All right, now that they've had their bath, food, litter, fleas taken off as much as possible, I knew that this was a good time to go ahead and just give the kittens some time to themselves. I could go back out and deal with my cats next. As I said before, I knew that I couldn't just go back out to my cats. I washed my hands before leaving, took off any clothes I was wearing around the cats, and dumped them straight in the laundry. Hi, baby girl.
Rico's hiding.
Are you mad at us?
She doesn't seem that angry.
I missed you, baby. Hi. Do you want some treats? Come here.
Where is he? Hey, bud. You okay, buddy? Rico. Hi. Mama loves you, buddy. Everything's gonna be okay, okay? You see Rico? Mochi, say hi.
Where is she?
She coming around. You saw your brother? Are you still being mean to him?
No. What's wrong, Mochi? Hey, talk to me. What do you want? Yeah, show me what you want. Does Mochi want to go outside? Yeah? Does Mochi want to play? Yeah? Or does Mochi want a treat? It looks like Mochi wants to play. Come on, Mochi. Let's go.
How do you feel about this? Okay. Not happy. So that's Mochi. And that's the door they're in. The closer we get to her, the angrier she gets. This is how she typically acts in the first 24 hours. Oh, I know, baby. It's always annoying to have company. You can make it through it. We could do this another time. I love you, Mochi.
So I wanted to give you guys an inside look on how I deal with my cats during these fostering periods. I know it may not seem like it, but Mochi is actually doing so much better, and by now Rico came out from under the bed. Any chance I get to give them treats or love, I do, so that they know their life is better with new cats. Hi, is that my handsome?
Hey, man. You're not being shy anymore? You're not being a mean big sister anymore.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. How are we feeling?
everybody.
There's two. So there's one.
How y'all doing? Hi. Mochi. What's up, man? Okay, first baby. Get some rubbing. Oh, we love that. On our belly with it. Somebody is in
His ass
heaven.
is shit. It has shit on
Good. You guys are going potty. He being the
it.
babies.
I'm gonna start eating.
Oh, look
And
at
they're
you.
covering their stuff up too. It's real litter.
Look at you guys. Waddling over. I'm just making sure you don't have any more fleas, babies. You guys are coming up next. You just gotta get a good look at you guys. 3 bird kittens.
So usually when I leave kittens alone and come back to check on their space, it is significantly dirtier. But these kittens were actually pretty clean. I didn't see any poop anywhere that it shouldn't have been. The only time that somebody peed outside of the litter box was like the first 10 seconds of them touching the ground, in a sense. I was so happy that I didn't see any noticeable fleas anymore. So I really just spent this time teaching them how to use the toys in their space and teaching them just how to be the great kittens that they should be.
Oh, somebody's learning to climb. Look at that. Look at how much progress you're making in such a little amount of time. Can you climb too? Are you gonna learn to climb today? Oh, you learned to climb in my lap.
Attention to, do you want some tummy time? Do you like tummy time? How do you feel about tummy time? What you over there doing?
Did you guys go potty yet? Do you need a moment in the bathroom?
Are you sure?
Are you playing?
Yeah, he's tiny. You get to dig in.
He was about to take a shit. I was so right.
That was right.
No, these are good cats.
I was saying in that last clip that Rico was not as good. He was like stepping in his poop and trailing it everywhere. Whereas these kittens were doing a pretty good job of covering their poop afterwards, or if they didn't cover it, you know, making sure it was in the litter box.
Sit. Figured we were hungry. How about you guys leave that nasty food alone?
Make space for your siblings. It's okay, you guys. Be nice to your brother. Be nice, Mochi. It's okay, buddy. Leave Rico alone. You know it's not him. I love you. Be nice, Mochi. You wanna play? All right, and that is how we foster cats. Phase 3 is going to be about the adoption process, so stay tuned for all the topics I'm going to cover during that time. I think I might title the video like a 2-week update or something like that, because that'll be part of that process. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you next time.